Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Carly Bell, and I love to do machine embroidery tutorials. And today we are continuing with our sew along of the Kimberbell Quilting Through the Seasons ladder quilt. So this is something that we started, last week? So I think, yeah, last week. My mind is already gone with school and getting out of summer, so please excuse me and my mom brain. But we are working on this sew along that I'm very excited to do. It is a beautiful ladder quilt. And the thing that I love about it is that this is much more, I think, fitting in my home as far as like color scheme goes. It's got a lot of neutrals in it, and it can be hung up year long because we're going to make the quilt itself, put it all together. But then there are 4 sets of embellishments that come with this quilt and or designs for those embellishments. And those are interchangeable on the quilt itself so that it can be a winter theme quilt, a spring, a summer, or a fall theme. So I'm very excited to work on this project with y'all. I've been having it for like a year. It's all the supplies have just been sitting. So I'm really excited to get started. I'm going to work on making the backbone of the quilt, and then we'll get into the fall embellishments. And once you learn how to make the fall embellishments, the procedure is pretty much the same when you get ready for if you want to go ahead and make the winter ones and the spring ones. And I'm going to try to make them before that season actually comes, but knowing myself, it'll probably happen after, just the way that I am. So good morning. I hope everyone is having a great Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I'll say hi to some of my friends here. Hi, Linda and Jess and Elsa and Joanna, Cindy, Stacy, Trish. I hope y'all are all having a great morning so far. Okay, so couple updates. If you are new here, I made a page on my website dedicated to the sew along. So it's going to have all the info that you need and probably answer a lot of questions that you may have if you've not done one of these kind of projects before. So it should be the first link you see under this video is the sew along homepage. And I will show it to you very quickly. But it's on my website, carlybell.com. And it's going to have a free organizational chart for you to download, which I'll show you in a second. And if you are watching live with me, so we are October, I'm way ahead. Today is August 24th, 2026. So if you are watching live with me and wanting to participate, one update is that I did fix my schedule here. So this is the live schedule of when the classes are going to happen. And I'm sorry, this is so small. I don't know if I can make it bigger. There we go. This is the live classes. So what this is today. Today we're going to try to make 2 blocks depending on time. But we're going to make the bike and the bird. And on this column is your homework. The homework items are going to be very, very similar to things we do in class. So there shouldn't be anything new here that would, make you have a lot of questions or anything. You should be able to refer to what we do today to be able to do this homework block. And so I fixed the schedule because last week we noticed I like totally skipped a whole week that I did not mean to. So I moved some things around, and now I have intentionally skipped sometime October 1st, I think it is. I am going to go out of town and try to make it to the H&H Americas show in Houston, Texas, in between these 2 dates here. So that worked out great, so that I will miss this time and then come back. And other than that, the only other time we're missing is I'm not going to have a class on Labor Day and on Columbus Day. Other than that, I'll be here every Monday and Thursday to work on this with y'all. And also wanted to update, now we're like a little too zoomed in here. Um, on the website will be the replays of all of the videos. So if you missed one, you can see all the replays here. And there's also a video playlist on YouTube that you can click on. But I already have today's video there. And then each week I will update this and add the newest videos. And then all your supplies are here. Thread colors. I finally picked out my thread colors to kind of match this. All that info's here for you. And here is that free cheat sheet that you can go download. Just put your name and email, and it will automatically email you the PDF that you can then print out. All right, that's our little intro for all our new friends here. Next, let's talk about what we're doing today. So last week we got started on the first block, and we actually didn't get to finish because I did not realize how long this was going to take to stitch out. And I'm going to say this every class we do because I don't put the designs on my machine until I'm live with y'all. And then my machine tells me this will take 39 minutes to stitch out. So depending on that each week, we'll finish them hopefully live. But if not, don't worry. I will save any good pieces to show you in the next class. Like for instance, this one, all we had to do was finish stitching all the black, and that was it. And so I did that, and I didn't trim it or do any of the finishing work so that y'all could see that live today. And then one of your homework blocks was this one. So I stitched that out, and I had one more homework block to do, but I didn't finish it, but that's okay. Which was the sweet block. But they're all very similar in that they're pretty basic setup, and the sweet block, for instance, and like this black and white one is just all thread. There's no applique. We did some applique on this block, and you got to see that in action. Today is going to be more applique work. The bike is fun because we're actually, when we applique, it's going to be done in a way that there's an opening and it serves as a pocket. So that's going to be cute. And then we'll later put some embellishments in those pockets. And then for the little bird, which is just a really cute design, there is some flexi foam in there. So it gives it a little bit of a 3D effect. So lots of fun. All right. If you are new here, highly recommend you go back and watch the first video in this series. That is going to explain everything you need, what you can budget on, like things you can substitute, things you absolutely, you don't absolutely need, and how to set yourself up for success. So in that class, I go over pre-cutting everything, interfacing, and creating envelopes. So I have my envelopes already made for the 2 blocks we're going to work with today. And I use lightweight cotton muslin as my stabilizer instead of using poly mesh. This is another way that helps you save money. And you could see this system that I do of cutting a strip of my stabilizer, and I just move my hoop down so that when we're done, then I will trim all of this. So that is for any of our friends that are new here today and going to be confused about my next few steps. All right, so we'll do the bike first. For the bike, the final size of the block is 4 by 6. And so I have my batting. I do a method, which you'll see in a little while, where I will reduce the number of steps I have to stitch out and trimming my batting in the hoop like an applique by cutting this the size it needs to be, which is 4 by 6. So I do that ahead of time. This is the background fabric. And then this is going to serve as our little baskets on the bike. Everything else is thread. So this is what you're going to need for this one. And then for the bird, we have again, the batting. This block is a 4 by 4 is the final size. Our background fabric. And then we have some pieces of applique for the bird and the wing. And this is flexi foam. This is what we're going to be using under the bird to kind of help it like poke out and have a 3D effect. This is not included in their embellishment kit. If you got the embellishment kit for this project, this is not in there. This is a separate purchase. And right before this class started, I realized I think this is my last piece of flexi foam that I have in my craft room. So I will be making an Amazon order right after this for another. I swear I had more, but it's disappeared. And I looked all over in my craft room and I cannot find it. So I will probably find it after the new package of this comes in. So I just wanted to show y'all that. So we have everything we need. Both of these are going to be made in a 5x7 hoop. And if you have a larger hoop, it is definitely possible to combine blocks. And we'll be going over that in a future class where I'll show you how to do multiple blocks in one hooping. But for today, I'm just going to stick with what I have ready, and that is my 5x7 hoop. And you see, I'm just putting my stabilizer as close to this block as I can without it getting in the way. All right, so this is now ready to go, but we do have to get our designs ready. And this is something else I go over in the first class on your options of working with the designs and the background quilting. And that is going to depend on you and if you like to use embroidery software like I do. Okay, Joanna says, by Annie, Soft and Stable is virtually the same as Flexi Foam. Okay, Joanna, thank you. I will look at that. I think the last time I bought it was, I bought the Pellon version. So I'll price around and see where I get the best deal. Because y'all know I'm frugal. Okay. So I am in Brilliance. And with all of the blocks that I'm making, what I am doing is adding a background quilting design first. That's going to be where my batting will go, my background fabric, and then we'll stitch a pretty quilting design on top. Then I will stitch the actual design, and that in this case will be a bike for one instance and a bird for the other. Okay, so step one, I have the right hoop. Okay, 5x7. Okay, let me zoom in. Why is it not showing my 5x7 down here? Let me change this to inch. There we go. That's what I was wanting to see. Okay, so that tells me my hoop size down here at the bottom in the status bar. And first, I need my background quilting. And this is where your cheat sheet that you can go download for free on my website comes in handy, because I could see my bike block. It tells me what quilting design I need, what size my batting needs to be, what fabric, what thread color I'm using for the quilting design. So according to my sheet, I need, let's go to, this one is the quilting, and I need time 1, this one. And I'm choosing embroidery files, pick your format of choice, and I need 4x6 right here. Okay, now they have horizontal and they have vertical, and I don't have that written down, so let me look in the book now. And vertical is what we want. We want this one. Okay, so let me write that on my cheat sheet. Oh wait. Oh, I got to show y'all my cute little thing. Wait, let's pause for a second because I got to show y'all this because it's so cute and I'm excited about it. Okay. If you are in my VIP membership group, this is a really fun group. We call it the Sip and Stitch Squad VIP. And we do a Zoom class every month. And I give the students, the members, a embroidery design every month. And usually the Zoom class corresponds to making that embroidery design. Sometimes we change it up and we do digitizing lessons and like in-depth and brilliance classes and not actually make something. But tomorrow, we're making something. And I was looking for my pen just now and I couldn't find it because I put it in my handy dandy zippered pen case that we're making in our VIP class tomorrow. So this is my planner, and I made the design to where we could put a piece of elastic in it, and it's a little just in the hoop zippered bag. It's fully lined and it can hold my pens, and I can keep it wrapped around a notebook or a planner. Um, I've been wanting to make one of these for like years, and I finally sat down and did it. And this is going to be our project for tomorrow's VIP class. So if you're a member, I hope you like this and that you're going to enjoy tomorrow's class. If you're not a member, you should come join because it's a lot of fun. There should be a link, I think, in the video description box down below. Okay, back to work. I'm writing myself a note with my pen that I just found that we need vertical on my cheat sheet. Okay. Now, here is that one. I can double click this and it will open, or since I have a Mac, I like to do the drag and drop method. Okay, so you could see this fits beautifully in my 5x7 hoop, even though this block is 4x6. The actual size of the stitching is 4.5 by 6.5. So with every block, the actual stitch design is going to be a 1/2 inch bigger on both sides, both the top and the width and the height, should I? Sometimes we see like, oh, this is a 4x4 block, like the bird one we'll do next. It should fit in my 4x4 hoop. No, it will not, because the actual stitch size will be 4.5 by 4.5, and it's going to be too big for your 4x4 hoop. That's why with all these Kimberbell projects, they advise you need at least a 5x7 hoop. That is about the smallest hoop you can make these designs with. I have had friends that have figured out ways to do it in a 4x4, but I just want to tell you it's tedious. Okay, so this is our background quilting, and there are 5 steps. This is placement for batting. You lay your batting down. This is tack down for batting. So this is treating it like an applique. You tack it down, you trim it. This is a step that I'm skipping. This is placement for background fabric. This is also a step that I skip because I can see exactly where my background fabric goes because my batting is right where it needs to be. So I skip this one. I just think it's not necessary. And I'm trying to go as quick as I can because I talk way too much. Okay. Step number 4 is your basting stitch for your background fabric. I will do this one. There are times where you could skip it though if it saves you, if your like biggest size hoop makes this not fit in it, you can get away with skipping this step. All right, and then we have our actual quilting, which this is super cute. I really like this. All right. So like I told y'all, I skip these 2 steps every time. So I'm going to just hit delete on my keyboard. Now I'm going to bring in my bike design. So I need to go back to the beginning of my folder. So here are my embroidery designs. Pick your format of choice. We're working in the base quilt right now. When we get to the embellishments, they're all located in their particular season. And then some of the blocks in the base quilt are large, but they offer it to where you can do it in a 5x7 hoop. And we'll do that in one of the classes. All right, here's our bike. So I am going to drag and drop this. If you have a Windows computer and your computer doesn't like you to drag and drop, that's when you're going to use the merge library icon. And I went over this, I think, in the last class, how to navigate through that. But basically, I think this is it. Let me double check my book, because sometimes the book will tell you, if normally the quilting goes in the center of the hoop and then the design goes in the center. But there are some times when, like this bike, for instance, they might want it to where the wheels are touching, because this design will ultimately be turned. so that it looks upright. Like I can select all of this and turn it. This is how it's going to look. And I can turn my hoop by double clicking this. They might want it to where the wheels of the bike are touching the bottom of the design, or like bottom where the quilting is. So I'm double checking my book and it says centered. Align the block embroidery file with the quilting design file so that both files are centered. Okay, so no special alignment. So we're done with this guy. And I can look here and just see, I like to see what I'm expecting as far as stitching. So we'll do the spokes, the center of the wheel, the wheels, the bike frame, the cable, more filled stitch, the chain, pedal, so on. Okay, this is going to be our applique, and you can see it's not traditional applique because it's not actually going around the whole bit. It's not a closed shape. We have an opening here and here, but I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And then that's the placement, that's the tack down, the finishing. And then I don't know what this step is here, so we'll look in the instruction book and see what's going on with that. All right, so this is ready to save. So I'm going to save this as a stitch file. And I have been putting everything on my USB stick because my wireless network does not like me or my machine, and I can't send things over wirelessly. But I've made a folder for this project, this quilt, and I'm just going to name this one Bike. I save it in PES format because that's what my machine likes. Save. Okay, let's set up the bird one too and have it ready to go. So let me back up. All right, looking at my cheat sheet for the bird, I need plant 10 4x4. Plant 10 embroidery files. We're doing block by block. If you have to choose between that and clear blue tiles, we're doing block by block and 4x4. So I'm gonna double click this, and now I've opened up a new tab in my software, and we have this. I'm gonna go delete those 2 steps that I don't do, that I already explained to y'all why I don't do them, but that is totally up to you if you want to. It does not hurt anything. Back up, go to my embroidery files, format, base quilt, bird. Click, merge. There we go. And I'm double checking in the book. It is aligned center. Nothing I need to do there. And here we can see we got applique bird. There's actually, this includes appliquing the flexi foam first, and then we put the material on top of that. So this has got multiple steps. And we got the beak, and then that's the wing, again with flexi foam. And then we just have fill stitching. So depending on how time goes, we might not get through all. I'll make sure we get through the flexi foam part, but then depending on time, we might not do all of these live, and I'll just do the thread changes after. But this guy is ready. Save stitch file as, and I'm going to name it bird. Make sure it's in my right format. It's in my right spot. Save. Okay, now I need to eject my USB stick. There we go. And I am ready to stitch now. Okay, let's see. Yay. Mary said, did you see Becky's show today about sewing out the templates for the batting? Yes, I did watch. So she's talking about Becky Thompson, and her YouTube channel is called Power Tools with Thread. She is a great quilter and machine embroiderer, and she's working on a tree skirt right now from Designs by Juju. And what she did today is essentially what I do, except her pieces are odd shaped. So mine are easy because they're rectangles or squares. So I just use my normal quilting rulers and cut my batting. I don't have to make a template. But what she's doing is, because wedges, what she did was, that's, you know, harder. I can't, no, I couldn't cut that just by you showing me this, the size of something. So what she did was is she stitched on a piece of cutaway stabilizer, just the tack down stitch for the wedges of the tree skirt. She stitched that out. Then she cut them out, and she's using that as a template. So now she can lay that template on top of her batting and pre-cut all her batting. So essentially the same thing. We're cutting it to size. That's going to prevent us from trimming in the hoop. That's going to cut down on another stitch step during your design. And we're using just like a normal Elmer's glue stick to hold that batting in place. And then we just put the background fabric right on top. So yes, same idea, but hers, it was more difficult because it wasn't a normal square or rectangle. So that was great that she made templates for it. That made it a lot easier for her to cut out. Okay, let's see. Did you program the thread names, or did they come up automatically per the design? They came up automatically. So with Kimberbell, and when I opened that Kimberbell design in Brilliant thread for all of their projects, they sell thread kits to match for their projects. And I can see that all the steps in that design match the glide thread color that they recommend. So if I would have bought the thread kit, I would know right exactly what color thread to use. I did not buy the thread kit because I have too much thread as it is. Actually, I don't. I probably could use more. But anyway, this is where I cut myself off from buying things. I buy the fabric, I buy the embellishments. I don't buy the thread, even though I want to sometimes. But what I did was I printed out the chart that is in the book. I zoomed in on just the thread bit and printed that out. And then I went through my thread collection. I have it, some of it right here, and found thread colors that were matching to this, or close enough. I showed in the last class how you can use a program. There's a website with a thread converter, and you can type in the glide thread that they recommend, and then just put in the brand that you have. So I have mostly Exquisite brand thread. And so I found like corresponding colors for their glide color to kind of match my Exquisite colors. And then I went and wrote on this thread chart what colors I'm using for each of these. So in the book, they're not telling you the glide thread color. They're just using this chart, and you can see, you know, like this pink with an open heart in it. That's a light pink color. The pinkest purple with the closed black heart in it, that's lavender. But those are actually going to a glide color that comes in the thread kit. And then I just put in what I have. Like I have some of these, like the bright pink is actually taffy, and I have taffy. The light pink is bubblegum. I have bubblegum glide thread already, but then most of them I don't. And so I just noted on here what I'm going to use so I don't forget. And in case I don't keep all my threads in my basket like I'm supposed to, I can go back and look at this and be like, oh yeah, this is what I was using for this step. Okay. Trish said, too much thread, wash your mouth. That was it. So I like fabric all day long, all day long. Thread, I don't know. I guess I'm more constrained with the thread because I have run out of places to put the thread. Y'all, I don't know if y'all can see. Let's see if I can make this. So I have that little thread stand on the wall. That's just for prettiness. But how do I move my camera? I don't know if it will let me. Over there, that is my wall of thread. And I have 3 racks there, and I have run out of space. Okay, I probably made my camera a little crooked now. That's okay. Oh yeah, it's definitely crooked. Like, no, I'm this way, I'm leaning. I'll fix that later. Okay, let's get to where y'all don't even see that camera anymore, and let's get to work. Okay, I got my stabilizer. Remember, I'm using lightweight cotton muslin instead of poly mesh. And I'm going to bring my book and my envelopes, and we're going to go to the machine. And I need to take my USB out of my computer, and I need to show y'all the machine. Okay. Let's go over here now. Oh, I'm so happy. Last class, my microphone decided to not like me and would not connect to my computer. And so I really struggled because when I'm standing at my machine, y'all couldn't hear me because I was far away from my computer. But I was very happy I got my microphone to like me today. Okay, I can't have the hoop on when it's got to calibrate. So let it do its thing. Plug my USB in. Okay, now I can add my hoop. Okay. Embroidery, USB. Pick my Quilting Through the Seasons folder. Pick the bike. Okay. And it has rotated it for me. I hit set. I hit embroidery. I'm not doing any editing on my machine at all. I like to do everything on the computer, but these blocks are set up to where if you are just not a software person, you just put the background quilting design on, load that, stitch it out, and then leave everything here, and then load your design, stitch it out. And then most machines also have it to where you can merge the background quilting with the design. There's usually a little add button down here to where you can make it all in one step per se. So you can do that. You can load all the designs on a USB stick and then just come here and load things up. The one caveat to that is you have to have a hoop size big enough for each block. And that's where software really comes in handy, because I treated these two blocks like my biggest hoop was 6x10. And technically they did not fit in the 6x10 hoop with that background quilting, but I modified them slightly just to make this basting stitch fit. Nothing else in here changed. So that's why I just like software. Okay, first step is your placement stitch for your batting. This could be in any color. And this is going to show me where to put my batting. And I just got to make sure this stays out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to end up cutting these off and go and trimming them. Oh no, this was folded underneath. Let me cut. This is something I got to watch out for when I do these strips of stabilizer. Look what happened. You see how I caught it right there? I can just cut this. And that's okay because this is just a placement stitch. There we go. I'm not going to worry about going back over that spot. Okay, you stay over here. All right, and like I said, this is just a placement stitch. So normally I would like back up and make sure my stitches interlock and all that, but we're not worried about that. Okay. Now I get my batting that is pre-cut to size, which again, this is easy compared to what Becky's doing because this is just a rectangle. I can do this with my rulers. No problem. I don't need a template. Okay, and I just take some glue And you want to make sure you're on a flat surface because you don't want to push your stabilizer out of your hoop. I just put a little bit of glue. All it's doing is just holding this in place. I've done this for the last 5 projects I've done with Kimberbell with blocks like this, and I have not had a problem with it gumming up my needle. So I lay that there. And now that other step I skipped was a placement stitch for the background fabric. And you can see, like, it is very easy to determine that I should put my background fabric right on top of my batting. I don't need a stitch step showing me that. So you have, if you cut your fabric as the cutting guide goes, you have lots of wiggle room for this. So it doesn't have to be perfectly centered. It just needs to be on there. And for this step, put my hoop back on. For this step, I do like to remove my basting stitch before I trim my final block, which you'll see in a little while. I haven't done these blocks yet, but I stitch the basting stitch in a water-soluble thread so that I can get that out much easier than having to use my seam ripper. Okay, so that is there. I got the water-soluble thread in, and it's just going to do a simple basting stitch. Oops. Okay, now we are ready for the background quilting. So I am going to change my thread to just plain white now. Thread my needle, and I'm going to go ahead and it'll be easier if I did this out of the hoop. Okay, there we go. So now that's not in the way. And we'll go work on these while this is stitching. And let me double check. I think am I supposed to do black or white? I think white. Yes, I have white. It's just in the design, it shows it black, but I'm really stitching it in white. Okay, so have that going. And now let's go clean up these other blocks and get them ready to trim. All right. Good morning, Patty. Let's see. Mary says same thing. Never enough thread. My dealer gave me 100 spools of Floriani with my machine purchase, and it's still not enough. Yes, I can see that, Mary. Do you use muslin for stabilizer? Would help with puckering. So yes, I use the muslin. I don't have any issues with puckering because I do, what do we call? Interface all of the fabric with SF 101 or whatever kind of interfacing. Kimberbell has their own version of this. I think someone told me there is some other brands that essentially make the same thing. But it's a woven fusible interfacing goes on the back of all of my fabric. And so it really doesn't need much stabilization. And this is, to be honest, has about the same weight as poly mesh stabilizer. So I've had no trouble with using the muslin as stabilizer. Okay. Yeah, so she said, thank you for the pre-cut batting idea and glue. She was like, yes, I also felt like I was wasting so much batting and I just did not want to trim any more than I needed to. Okay. Elsa said the fabric lines are, so when the bike block is done, the fabric lines will be vertical. Let me check the book and see what it looks like. But I think I put it the right way. Yeah, that's how it looks in the book too. Yeah, so you see right here, when it's done, the fabric lines are vertical to the bike. The quilting is actually horizontal, even though the design said vertical because of the orientation of the hoop. And then the bike goes on top. And that is something you pay attention to when you're cutting your fabric. You see these cut guides that they have? On the cut guide, it's hard to see, but I can see that's the fabric I'm using. The lines are horizontal on this cut guide. And so I always fabric how it looks on this little strip here on how I set up my cutting so that it matches. And I know that my final block will be in the orientation that, you know, it's not, I won't say it's supposed to be, but what they recommend. Okay, let's back up. Okay, so with this block, you can see very well the basting stitch. That is that water-soluble thread. So let me turn my iron on. And what I do is just take my spray bottle and wet it all along that line. And then I'll just go and like rub it with my finger and make sure it dissolves. I tried doing it with a Q-tip and stuff like that, but I find it was taking a lot more time because it needs a decent amount of water to really dissolve. So I just do better with my spray bottle and rub it. And then what happens is on the back, I could see the bobbin stitch right here. I can grab it and it comes right out. So there we go. That basting, that's the bobbin. I use regular old bobbin thread. I didn't have to use the water soluble for that bit. It comes right out because the top is now done. So there we go. You can kind of see some remnants sometimes, but it usually dissolves pretty good. And then once it is dissolved, and like this block is all thread, so there's like nothing you have to worry about on here as far as your iron touching. So I will iron this block, and then that will help dry up. Ooh, I'm making stuff everywhere. Let's see. Oops. And some of it wasn't fully dissolved. Okay. Let's add some water all over so we can steam it. But now you want to press your block, and so that it's nice and pressed before you trim it is the goal. Okay, so let's let that sit for a second and go back to the block we're working on. Okay, so we just finished the background quilting, which is very subtle, but very, see it. There are some jump stitches, it looks like, between the letters, but I'm not going to mess with none of that. I'm going to just let the bike go. And there's a spot missing here, but that's where a lot of the stitching of the bike will go. So now that the next step is going to start that bike. And this is where I need to look at my thread chart and make sure. So now on my machine, it doesn't tell me those glide colors because I have it set, I think, to brother colors. I haven't looked to see if it has glide as an option, but I just usually leave it alone because I'm not, normally I don't even make sure, I don't make sure my colors match that. I make sure my colors match what I know I want those steps to be stitched at, like I already have that like planned out, or what I had set up in my software if I set it up right. Okay, so the first step is the gray. It's like a gray box with a black outline circle in it. So gray box, black outline circle. Mine is 1710. That's this color for Exquisite. So oops. Make sure I don't have it snapped into the bottom. Okay, and let's start. Okay, the next color is the light taupe, which is this one for me. Then the color after that is cream, which I actually have that one. And then the color after that is black. So I'm going to get all this lined up. Black spool. So this color is next on. I have a 2-spool thread stand, so I'm going to put that one in the other one so it's ready to go. And then these are the next colors. All right, let that go. Now I'm going to go back to this sky. And I'm going to just press it one more time. Okay. All right, that is nice and pressed. So that's some fuzzies going on because it's black. Of course, there'll be fuzzies on it. Okay, that looks good. All right, now we're going to trim it. So you can trim this with an acrylic ruler, like a normal quilting ruler. But Kimberbell makes something that I have grown to really like. And it is what they call their orange pop rulers. And it's a design so that it has an open center and you can cut out a rectangle or a square with it. Okay. So let me get this set up, but let's go back and change our thread color. So now we want the light taupe. And after that is cream. Have that ready in the other thread stand. Okay. So when you look at the back of your block, you should see where the batting is underneath. I guess let me zoom out a little bit more. Okay. So you can see the batting. You can see the line where the batting is. You basically want to cut your block to be a 1/4 inch past that. So if you use your ruler, you can line up your 1/4 inch mark on that batting line like that. And then you would cut and then make your rectangle around. Okay. But Kimberbell made these cool things called orange pop rulers. And they're made so that you can cut the whole, like it goes around your whole block depending on the size. They make multiple sizes. They make it in square and rectangle. So let me zoom in here so you see this a little better. All right, we're done with the cream. No, with the taupe. Now is the cream. Next. Okay, and this is a very short step. And then we have black. That's it. Okay. Now I load black. Okay, now we'll do the tires, and we've got a little more time now. Okay, so orange pop rulers. Let me zoom out a little bit more so you can see better. So with these, what I like to cut from the back versus the front, but you can do whichever, play around with it, see what works best for you. I feel like I could line it up centered a lot better from the back because I could see the batting. So I turn it on the back, and I'm actually going to go ahead and separate these because I'm using a rotating cutting mat. So I don't want this sliding around, messing me up. Okay. So there we go. I got the 6.5 by 8.5 orange pop ruler. That is what the final cut size of this is. And if you don't know what the final cut size is, that is written on the cheat sheet right here. So this one is everything around me. Final cut size 6.5 by 8.5. All right, now I usually eyeball this so that this line here is centered with this. So that's going to give me my 1/4 inch seam allowance around it. Also, sometimes I can see where the puncture marks was of that basting stitch that I took out. And that is basically the cut line, is where that basting stitch was. Okay, once you got it lined up how you think you want, and this does not have to be perfect, so don't freak out about this and take 30 minutes. Oh, I forgot to do that. My husband just texted me. I was supposed to take some meat out the freezer. I have forgotten. Typical me. Okay. So once you get this way you want it, you're going to press down, get your rotary cutter, and you see the cutouts in the sides here. I'm going to start here and go all the way through. Okay, and now I'm going to turn my cutting mat without touching and messing up my block or my ruler. Everything should be staying where it's supposed to be. And going all the way around. Okay, once you do that, you should be able to just pull this right out. And now I have a block that's cut 6.5 by 8.5. It's ready to go. And so it can be pieced together. It has its seam allowance. And notice the batting is not in the seam allowance, so you won't have too bulky of seams. You'll still have a little bit bulky seams because of the interfacing that is on the back of the background fabric, but it does reduce it by not having the batting there. So that is how we trim our blocks when we're done. But let's get back to the block we're stitching. And the next color We're going back to the gray. Is that the same gray? Yes, this one. Need this color for the next 2 steps, and then we'll do the applique bit. Okay. All right. After that, we need the brown. I'll get that a little bit. Okay. All right, that is going to take about 5 minutes to stitch. So we're going to let that do its thing, and I can come back here and answer any questions y'all have. Okay, any questions so far? Any questions about trimming your blocks when you're done? So this guy is done. And what I do is I go and put it back in the original envelope that I had for this guy. And so when I'm ready to piece together, I just pull my envelopes with my finished block in them. Okay. So, and then we can toss this and work on that guy. And kind of same procedure, but with this one, you can't really see the basting stitch because it blends in with the fabric. Okay, so just let that dissolve. And then I turn it over on the back and I can see the bobbin of the basting stitch. And I can just pull that right out. And then we can press. And again, there's nothing on this block to be worried about my iron. Some of the blocks we're going to make, like when we do the bird, it's going to have that flexi foam there. So we're going to have to be mindful of how we press it. We can press it from the back in some cases, or just go around whatever embellishment that might be on there that might be heat sensitive. The main thing you want to get is those edges so you can get a nice trim. All right. And once that is done, again, I like to go on the back side. This block is the same trim size, 6.5 by 8.5. I am just centering this, eyeballing it. And trimming. Oh, wait, there we go. My rotating mat came out of the little thing in the center. Okay, that looks good. It did come out the center again. There we go. let me just hit start on my machine again because the next step is the same color. Okay, let me cut that. Yep. Okay, I got it all of them. Yeah. All right. So there we have our 6.5 by 8.5 block ready to go. And I will do the same thing. I will put this in the original envelope. I had the prepped fabric in it. And now that will live in there until I'm ready to piece the block together. All right, so if we don't get to the end of these blocks today, it's the same procedure. I'll just be using a different sized orange pop ruler because these are smaller blocks. All right. I must have skipped some steps. Because it is showing all this cream stuff. Oh, I did. And I was supposed to stitch that last step in a darker thread color. Oops. I can go over it. Where is that? I missed that totally. Okay, I need my dark gray. That's 675. This one. I was looking ahead in my book. I was not looking where I was supposed to be. Okay, that last step I was supposed to stitch, that I did stitch in the lighter gray, was supposed to be in the darker gray. That's no problem. Because what I can do is back up one color step. And all it is the chain for the bike, so it will look better if it stood out as a darker color. And it's in a position to where it's not going to hurt to just stitch over it. It's not going to mess anything up. It's not going to be too dense or anything like that because it's really just a bean stitch. Okay. Let's try that now. Okay, step after this, back to the, oh, I had this lined up wrong. There we go. Now that stands out better. See, usually when you make a mistake, there's ways we can fix it. Okay, not the end of the world. Okay, now we got a bunch of steps in cream. That we're going to stitch out. That's going to take a couple of minutes. And after this is, that's in total. This is stitch number 7, according to the book, step number 7. And then after this step is a quick cream colored stitch. So I'll get that one ready. Then I go back to gray. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining us. We're just working on this bicycle block that is mostly thread. So we're just changing these thread colors, letting it stitch out. And then we'll get to the fun applique bit. And what we can do Get this ready. So the fabric pieces that are going to be the basket, what we're going to do is fold these in half so that we create a folded clean edge on one side. And that's where the opening of that's going to be, so that we won't have a raw edge. We'll have a folded clean edge. So we need to fold both of these and iron them so that they stay. Let's see, that has a little bit more stitching, so I'll get my ironing mat ready. So yeah, we have these squares. These are, what are these? They're 2 by 2. And so you're just going to fold one edge down and press. And so now these will be ready for the basket. Okay, we'll let those like that. And switch thread colors for a very quick cream colored stitch step. And after that, we go back to the gray. And this is the part where they have 2 gray steps, one after the other. Okay, let that go. And then we'll be ready to do the applique of the basket. Okay, one more step in the light gray. These are the bits of the petal. Okay, this next step, it does not matter what color thread you use for it, but I'm going to go ahead and use the brown color. That's ultimately what this applique step finishing color will be. Okay, so we're going to stitch this, and this will show us where to put our fabric. And they have some marks to help you line up the top of your fold with this. So y'all can see those marks there and there. That's where the top of our fold will go, right there. And then this one, we have those marks, top of our fold there. So that's how those are going to go. Let me double check. trim the fabric. Let's see. Place the fabric over each placement line with the folded edge aligned with the tick marks at the top of the placement line. Tape the short edges in place. So you can tape this in place, which I will do just to be safe. Normally I don't tape applique stuff in place, but this is a little tricky in that, and also it's going to stitch both of these in the same step. So when that hoop moves to go to the second basket, we want to make sure nothing moves with it. And remember, when you put in your tape and rub, and make sure you're on a nice flat surface so you don't push through your hoop. But y'all can see that I have those taped in place. Folded edges at the top, and it's lining up right with those tick marks that were there. And this is also when you can have like a stiletto to make sure nothing shifts, even with the tape in place. Perfect. All right. Now we can trim these. You see? All right. So this tape is like not even sticky anymore. I always reuse my tape a few times, and I tape them on the edge of my table over here. And there, yeah, they're not even close to being sticky. Okay, these might be a little harder to trim because it's 2 layers and it's interfaced. Okay, so we're only trimming on the 3 outer edges where your tack down stitch is. You want to get as close to that line as possible. And it's going to cover up all that raw edge with a satin stitch. You can see that. All right, that's it. Now we have cute little baskets that have a pocket, and we're going to put some cute embellishments in there later on once we've got the quilt all together. Okay. Something that would have been cute for this step, I just thought about, if I had some faux leather that is like a woven texture, that would have been cute. And then you wouldn't have to worry. Faux leather can have the raw edge. Look, this is it right here. Y'all see it? Like, that would have been cute to use as for the basket, and it would have been fine if the top would have had a raw edge. I didn't necessarily have to fold this over. So if you have some fun stuff like this, you know, think outside the box. I should have thought outside the box before I started stitching, but that's okay. Hopefully that helps you more. All right. Yay. Linda, you see, you said it. There's a cute woven basket like leather. Yep. I got mine at Hobby Lobby, and they don't have it there anymore. So I don't know where else we can find it, but if you find it, It's super cute. Oh yeah, she said this block would also be cute as like a small pillow, or even on a shirt. Yes, it would be. Okay, Amanda asks a very good question. What sew along is next? I want to start preparing for it. So my original plan was to do, I think it's called Cup of Cheer. That was my plan that I made for myself. I don't think it's not now. The timeline is not going to work out how I wanted. So this I got on sale from Kimberbell earlier this year, maybe. This is a huge advent calendar style quilt. I have everything for it, and I wanted to do a sew along for it. However, this ladder quilt is taking me, once I like planned it out and saw how many classes it was going to take to complete it, that totally messed up my timeline to start this one and have it done for Christmas. So my game plan right now is we're going to finish this quilt. Then right after this quilt is done, I should be hosting my holiday workshop, which is something I do every year. It's a lot of fun. And we do Zoom classes for a week. And with the workshop, you get 5 different designs, and we'll do a class each day making each of the designs. That's happening the second week in November. Then Thanksgiving pretty much happens right after that. I think I'll have a week. So I may get started on Cup of Cheer before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving, but there's no way it's going to be finished anytime before Christmas. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll just get started on it, and then we'll finish it after Christmas and we'll have it ready for next year. But I do have another option for you that I have that is shorter. So I will tell you that in a second. Let me think about this for a sec. So we've trimmed it, we've stitched the back basket, satin outlines. 14. Do not stitch this step. This line is for design placement only. Okay, so the last step is a line. We're not stitching that step. So I could see it on my machine. It's showing one simple running stitch line that would go about right here. The only reason why that is there is so that when we added the bike on top of the background quilting, that the bike actually stitched, was placed where Kimberbell intended it to be, and that's why we didn't have to do any alignment or anything, because they added this last stitch step, helped align this to where they wanted, but we don't actually stitch it. So that's it. We're done with this block and it is finished. Don't stitch that last step. Okay. Now let's move on to the bird, and then we'll talk more about my other sew along option. Okay. So this is done. I am just going to unhoop this, scoot this down a little. And I really don't have to worry about this. I'm at the end of my strip here. So I'm going to go ahead and, where's my good scissors here? Trim this guy and we can clean it up. Okay, and let's stitch the bird. And we should have enough time to get to the flexi foam bits, and then probably stop around 12. And I'll finish all the fill stitch stuff off camera, but that's all basic, nothing special for that, just changing thread colors. Okay, Quilting Through the Seasons, bird, set, embroider. It doesn't matter what the first stitch step color is, because all it is for the batting. Okay, so I got my envelope for the bird and batting, background fabric, glue stick. All right. I'm gonna get my water soluble thread ready. We'll be using that next. Okay, so I have my square. Y'all can see it, huh? The placement stitch. Take my glue stick, just lightly go around. And I got my pre-cut 4x4 square. Fits inside there just nice. Rub that in. And now I have my background fabric. Larger, easy to center right over the batting. Doesn't have to be perfect. And now we do our basting stitch with that water soluble thread. Just making sure that stays all nice and smooth and doesn't bubble up. Okay, the background quilting for this guy is in black. So load my black thread and stitch out the leaf design. And then let's get everything ready. Okay, so the first few bits of this design is all applique and with the flexi foam. What did I do? I touched something? Okay, I must have touched the screen on accident. All right, so it's going to stitch a placement line for the flexi foam. Then we put the flexi foam. Then it's going to tack it down. Then we'll trim it. Then we add the applique fabric on top, tack it down, and trim it. So it's kind of like a two-step applique. We applique the flexi foam, then we applique the fabric on top. And I like to look at the first thread color we're going to need, because all the applique steps doesn't matter what stitch color you need, what thread color you need. The first real thread color we're going to use is for the beak, and that's in this dark brown color. So I'm going to stitch all my applique steps in that, because I should be able to see it good on the black. And that's one less thread color change I have to do. Okay. Let me go look for my other Christmas that I have on my shelf. Let's see. Cup of cheer. I think that's cup of cheer. I bought another Christmas set, but Oh, we got a couple options actually, because I forgot I had something else too. This is what happens when you have too many things. What is this? Oh, I forgot I had that too. Now you know I can't find it. Huh. Okay, I'll just tell you what it is, but I can't find the book to show you. Maybe it was a digital download. That might have been what it was. I didn't even get a book. Okay. All right. Background quilting done. And, oh wait, why did I take this off? This is what I want. All right, now I'm loading the Goldie Brown thread. And I think that should be visible enough for y'all to see on the black. All right, now we're doing placement and tack down stitches. Doesn't matter what color you use. So now the first is the placement for the flexi foam. So you should see that. I'll take it off so you can see. All right, so y'all see the little bird design? We are treating this just like an applique, and we're going to cover that up with the flexi foam, and then it's going to tack it down. And I'm not going to bother taping it. Just going to make sure I cover up those stitches all the way. Okay. All right, now we're going to trim that guy. And trimming the flexi foam can be, you know, it's different than fabric because it's so thick. And what happens sometimes is when I cut it at an angle, it may like be poking out more at the bottom than at the top. So it's okay if you don't trim it, like if it does that to you, because when it tacks down the fabric, it's going to tack it down right outside of this stitch. So it works well with the flexi foam because it does tend to sometimes be a little harder to trim. This isn't bad at all. This is not giving me no trouble. Okay, so that is there. Now the next step is we're going to cover this up with the actual brown fabric. That is for the little bird. No, cream fabric. Cream fabric. I'm going to cover that guy up with that. Let me see. Because, all right, we stitched the bird, tack down line, trim the foam. Then it wants to stitch a bird placement line. I don't need a placement line. I already know where it's going. So I'm going to skip that step. Boom, next step. All right, now we're stitching the bird tack down line. That's the actual fabric tack down line. That's on there. Not going to worry about taping it. I got a little wrinkle. That's okay. Okay, that's our tack down line. Then we will trim this the same way and then move on to the beak. It's not really a wrinkle. It's just poofy right there. Okay, so now we got our bird fabric. Trim close to that tack down line. And it's going to cover up that raw edge, I think, with the satin stitch after. And I was thinking that the wing also had a piece of foam, but I might be wrong. Okay, so there is our bird, and it's poofy. I don't know if you could see. It pokes out. All right, don't let me forget to get back to the sew along, the next sew along talk, because I know I get scatterbrained, but I want to get this guy going to where we got a longer stitch step. All right, that's the beak. That's step number 6 in the book, or 5. I don't know. Yeah, that's 5. Step number 6 is in cream thread, and that's our outline. And now we have some more time where I can go dig on my computer for the picture of some other options we can do for Christmas that we might get one thing done. Might be a better thing and save cup of cheer for next year. All right, so this is the cream, the bird satin stitch outline. Okay. And then we'll do the placement and tack down of the wing. Okay. Let me go get something else I found on my shelf. This is an option. And then what's in here? I think this is all cup of cheer. Okay. That's cup of cheer. Okay. The other thing I thought I had, I think it's called like a quilty little Christmas. And it has multiple options. But let me show you what this is. So, okay, here's one option. This is something I bought a while back. These are mini quilts. Oh, this don't even have a Christmas one in it. Okay, I got January through June. So I could make a snowman one. That's an option. I have this. This is the little snowman one up here. The other thing I have, but I have to find, what's it called? Thought it was a, yeah, I swore I bought it, but I don't know. I don't see it in my downloads folder. And I don't see like usually when I buy stuff, I try to get it all the embellishment kit. And if it's a big project, I get the quilting kit too. Well, let me find it on Kimberbell's website. Maybe they'll sign in my Kimberbell account and see if it's in my purchase history. Wall gallery. I swear I bought this. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Right here. This is called A Quilty Little Christmas. And it comes with all of this. So there's a 10 by 10, a 12 by 16, 10 by 18, 16 by 16 design. So they have this little gingerbread one. We could definitely get that done. This one's super cute. Oh, that's precious. Maybe this would be a better idea to start after we're done this quilt and my holiday workshop. So the product is in a book. I should have a book somewhere. Okay, I have to go dig in my room. I have some shelves in my daughter's craft room. I've taken over a good portion of that. And that's where I've kept all my kits. Like I have the book, the embellishment kit, and if I bought a fabric kit, I had it all together. I don't see that one, so I don't know where I put it. Okay. We did the satin stitch around the bird. Now we're going to do the placement stitch for the wing. I'm going to go back to this brown color because this is what the wing will be in, right? Am I doing the right color? No, that's not the same color. Never mind. This color is S412. I don't have that one over here. Here we go. This is the color. So on my thread chart, it's not the dark brown, it's the regular brown, which I have this color. Wasn't feeding off. Yeah, it's getting hooked up. You see that? Can y'all see that? So I'm pulling on the thread and it's like looped. There's a knot. Let me undo it. Okay, let's see if that makes it better. It wasn't like feeding off the spool. Right. So I have to keep an eye on this. That will definitely cause breaking the needle break if that doesn't feed off correctly. Okay. Let me put this back. Okay. Now, next step, placement for the wing. This can be done in any color. I'm just going ahead and making it the same color that the wing bit will be in. Yeah, I guess it doesn't need more flexi foam because there's already some under there. Wing placement. All right, place the wing fabric, right side up. Done. Placing the wing fabric. Stitch the wing tack down line. This is calling for this brown thread because this is not going to have a satin stitch finish. Therefore, the tack down thread color is important, and you will see that in the instructions. Because when the thread color is not important, you will notice the box has like a white box with black diagonal lines through it. That means the thread color is not important. This one, it is the tack down step, but they do want this brown color. This is different from earlier where, sorry, I'm trying not to get your car sick here. The placement line didn't matter and the tack down stitch didn't matter. Placement line didn't matter, tack down stitch didn't matter. It didn't matter until we got to step 5 what color the thread was. So just pay attention to that in your PDF instructions. When thread color matters, it's going to have a color for you. We can't always assume every tack down stitch color doesn't matter because it depends on what the finishing stitch is for the applique. Next is cream. Okay, now we have to trim the fabric. Let's take that off and go trim it. Oh, not that. This. Okay. That done. And now it's actually going to go stitch some lines through this in a cream color, and then it will do the outline of the wing again, I think. Okay, so next color is cream. This is the wing detail. And then when this is done, we'll go back to the wing decorative outline. Then I need light green and a light blue gray colors. So this is 904 and then Madeira 15. Okay, these are the colors I had picked. No, not this one. That light green, not light teal. This is light green. Candle. Okay. So that's the wing detail. See some stitches coming up. Okay. Now we go back to the brown color and do the wing detail. And then we can, I think we'll have a minute. No, not this one. The next color is 8 minutes. Then we'll have time to talk. And yeah, we might finish this block. Okay, stitch this. Okay, then the light green is, I have this candle colored thread for light green. Okay. Now we'll have time to talk. Okay, now we're stitching some leaves. Let that go. And I can go back to my computer. Okay, what did I miss? I don't remember who was it that asked about. Oh yes, today's the day for Kimberbell deal of the week. All right, here we go. Amanda asked what sew along is next. So that's what we're going to figure out. And Elsa asked a good question. I don't know. I just end up buying new scissors. But she says, how do you sharpen the small scissors and your snips? I just end up buying new ones when they start going dull, especially at the tip. Like Havel's one, which I've had for years. The tips of this one is not as sharp anymore. So then they become thread cutting scissors that I leave at my machine. So like I'll leave a pair of these scissors at each of my machines. And that's what happens to these. Once they go dull, I just put them at the machine. These are some Kimberbell snips that I've had for a long time, but I just started using because the Havel's one has started to dull. And these are still very sharp at the edge. But I've never had my scissors sharpened. I've always just gone and bought a new one. Let's see. Woods in Suffolk says, first day back for the bus driver. No, my in-between, your in-between break. Yay, it's time to quilt. Awesome. So glad you're here. Let's see. All right. So yeah, Trish mentioned that today is Kimberbell's deal of the week. I think I did look earlier. So go to create and shop deal of the week. Oh, they changed it. Okay, it wasn't the same as what it was earlier. Ooh, there you go. If anyone is thinking about getting some orange pop rulers, this is an excellent price. $40 for the square set, $50 for the rectangle set. And then tape. I need tape. I don't know if it'd be worth getting the tape if I got to pay for shipping. That means I'm going to start adding more stuff to my cart. But yay, okay, deal of the week is helpful for anyone who has not gotten orange pop rollers yet and y'all are seeing me using them and think you might like them. This is a great deal. And yes, you do need both of them, unfortunately. They always got to make it complicated and that you have to buy all the things. Okay. Hey, Sherry, her flight got in early. Glad you're home safe. Let's see. So, all right, I don't think I missed. Annette said, check your email. All the files didn't transfer during their platform upgrade. Okay, thank you. I need to check. I haven't gone in my Kimberbell account yet to check to see what's in there. I don't know if it shows all my personal info. So let me look at that myself before I have my screen showing. I gotta check my email. Kimberbell. I gotta put a code in. Ooh, I got that wreathed bench pillow too. I buy way too many things. Here it is. Yes, I bought. It was delivered last November. I got the quilty little Christmas. I got the embellishment kit, and I got the background quilting. And then I got the cup of cheer before that. And this is the Quilting Through the Seasons. Every time I get it, it's because it's deal of the week, and I buy the set. Okay, so I do have it. It should have came with a book. It's somewhere in my craft room. So, all right, let's take a vote for my friends that are watching live. Let me know. Oh, my camera's still crooked. Let me go fix that. Let me know if you vote, if you like to do the sew alongs live with me. If you don't do them live with me, it doesn't matter because you'll watch the replays anyway when you have time. Okay, is that better? Let's see. Am I not crooked as much anymore? Yeah, not as bad. Let's see. Okay, that's maybe better. Okay, so let me know in the live chat if you're watching. So the schedule right now is we'll be done with this quilt the first week in November. Then we're having our Sip and Stitch holiday workshop. This is a special paid for workshop that I do once a year. It's really fun, and we do 5 holiday projects, 1 project every day for Monday through Friday. Then, depending on what's going on with life in general and stuff, if I take a week off, or we can jump into a new sew along after that, or wait and do it after Thanksgiving break. And that could be, go ahead and start on Cup of Cheer, which is a very large advent calendar style quilt, and just get it going. Even though it's not going to get finished for Christmas, we can finish it, and probably it'll take till February to finish, to be honest, if we do 2 classes a week. Or we can do a smaller project like the, well, I never even thought about bonus projects too. Do they have any little cute bonus? No. Okay. Or we could do, what is it called? A quilty little Christmas wall gallery is a set. We can do one of the small little quilts from that. And that might be able to actually get done for Christmas. So y'all let me know either in the chat or send me an email, message me on Facebook. I'll post something in the general Facebook group as well. And maybe make like a poll in there on what y'all want to do next. So we could do it. Okay, so I see 3 of y'all have already said Quilty Little Christmas. I think, and my friend Carol told me the same thing when because she helps me with planning these sew-alongs and figuring out everything. And she said that. She's like, you're going to kill yourself if you try to get cup cheer done before Christmas. So I was like, I know, but I really wanted to do it. It's so pretty. But it's like, cup of cheer is like this quilt where there's tons of, there are 14 embellishments that are made in addition to the quilt that go in the, as add-on pieces or whatever. So I really want to make this one, but I think I should put that one off till next year. And then the other option is not as fun, but it's little snowman from this set. But maybe we'll save this and do like one of the spring ones or something as a quick sew along for next year. All right, so I'm going to go tear my craft room apart and look for my, what is it? A Quilty Little Christmas set, because it is somewhere. It is somewhere. I just have to find it. But once I find it, then I'll look through the book and see like what would take the least amount of time. If we factor in an intro class, a class piecing it together, binding, all that kind of stuff, and then how many blocks it has, and see if we can get that done before Christmas, because that would be fun, and have something cute and little, and we could put that out. All right. Any other questions y'all might have? Because I think I am going to stop the live, because all that's left here on this bird block is just lots of thread changing, and y'all have seen that already. What I can do real quick is go ahead and trim this block, and while I wait for y'all to, if y'all have any questions. So let me turn my iron back on. I am dissolving the water-soluble basting stitch. Uh-oh. The thread color didn't want to work. Okay, that's fine. I heard my machine making some noises. We all know what that's like when your machine starts making noises that you're like, wait, that doesn't sound normal. And we all jump. Okay, let that sit for a second, and I'm going to change the thread color. I think the next color is this gray-blue color. Oh, I see what happened. My thread came off. I don't know if you could see this, but the thread is coming straight from the spool here, and it came out of the thing. But my stitching looks good, so that's good news. But this is what happens when I walk away, and I'm not watching it like a hawk. Stupid things like that happen. Okay, we'll let these flowers start stitching, and I will look back at this periodically to make sure the thread is still on the thread stand. All right, yay, Amanda says she just ordered the rectangle pop rulers and more tape. All right, Linda says she has Quilty already, so that works out good. Joanna has a great point. Make cup of cheer, summer, early fall project. So that way we have the whole fall to put it together. That sounds like a great problem, a great idea, not problem. So, I wanted to tell y'all, for those of y'all that haven't ordered if you want those orange pop rulers, I have a favor to ask you. And that is, please use my referral link to Kimberbell. If you go to the homepage for the sew along, if you scroll to the supply section, it will bring you straight to the deal of the week. This is my referral link for Kimberbell right here. So it will bring you to it, and then place your order. So then I'll get, it helps me out a lot. It gives me credit for it, and it doesn't cost you any extra money whatsoever. So my referral link for Kimberbell can be found on the homepage for the sew along. In the gather supplies section, they'll have a direct link to the deal of the week. I just want to tell y'all that, please. Okay. Let's finish this up, and Elsa said, cup of cheer, can you do a section at a time? Yes, I've done some of my sew alongs like that, because like all of these quilts, they are divided in sections. Like this particular quilt is divided, I think, into 4 sections. And it will tell you on the instructions like what section this block is in. I have not organized my sew along in that order. I've organized it more in, I think it's more like in the order that the instructions are in, not necessarily where it's placed. Because if you look at this, I think on one of the early pages of the book, it tells you. Okay, like the wreath hoop is in section 1. Everything is a season is section 1, and the bike is section 1. But I don't have us doing the wreath like a while from now. So I'm not trying to organize it that way. I have it more in the order of actually what the book goes. So like this was first homework, this was first homework, this was the first class, was everything has a season. And see, this week's homework is the stacked blocks. This is going to be basically the same as what we have been doing today. It's just basically the background quilting and applique. So this is your homework for this class, and it's just a basic applique. It's got 2 different pieces of fabric, and then you do all the outline stitching. The bit of twine that you see is added after as an embellishment, so you don't have to worry about anything special going on with the twine. We are just stitching the stacked books applique. That's your homework. And then you see the bike, then the bird. Our next class, I think, is the house or the base. And then the next class after that is the base. Like, I'm just going in this order. But for cup of cheer, we could think about doing it in sections. That's an option. Okay. All right. So I got this. Now I have an orange pop ruler that is 4.5 by 6.5. Oh, I never did pull the bobbin back out of the back. There we go. And just eyeballing that. That looks good. right. So the bike block is done. I'm going to put that in its envelope. I'm going to finish up the bird one, and then I'll do the same thing, trim it, put it, and then I'll try to work on my homework. I hope you do too. But in the meantime, if you are making these with me live, I would love to see your finished blocks as well, especially if you're not using the fabric kit and you have your own fabric. I love seeing other people's fabric combinations and such. Take a picture and tag me in our general Facebook group. There should be a link for it down below, but I think it's called Beginner Machine Embroidery and Silhouette Craft Group, something like that. Come take a picture and send it to me. I want to see. Let's see. Oh my goodness, Linda said they had a snake in her flower bed. Ah, okay. Mimi Sewing Room says she just bought the orange pop rulers for full price. Oh, if they're still in the wrapping, return them. I have done that. I bought something and then saw it on sale after and I returned it and got it. Okay, so that's it for today. Next class is Thursday. What's the next class? I think we're working on the vase. And this is your project where we're going to split it. So if you have a 5x7 hoop, next class you're going to want to see, we're going to go over embroidering the background quilting using clear blue tiles method, or I could show you a cheater method if you print out or make a template of the background quilting. We're going to quilt the whole thing, and then we'll do the vase and 2 hoopings. And Kimberbell has the design already split for you. So the vase class is going to be for you if your biggest hoop is 5x7. You're going to want to pay attention to that one. And then actually the house block, I think, is your homework for the next class. So that is it for today. I will put a poll in the Facebook group to see what Christmas project y'all want to do after this one's over. And some other things. Oh, VIP, Dip and Stitch Squad VIP class is tomorrow. We're going to make an in the hoop zippered pencil. But it's like a planner buddy or notebook buddy because it rubber bands to it. So this is our VIP class for the month. That's my membership group. Come and join us if you're not already a member. It's a lot of fun. And then this Friday, let me go get that, is Dip and Stitch, which is my normal monthly YouTube tutorial where we do a project from start to finish. And this month's project is talking about how to embroider onto ribbon, and then we turn that ribbon into a bow. So I made the bow. I'm not the best at making bows, but I'm going to show you a simple method that you can use to turn regular ribbon into a bow after you embroider it. Another option for you is you can buy pre-made bows with long tails and you can just embroider straight on those. So that is this Friday's class. This is going to be live on YouTube, 10:30 a.m. Central Time Zone. Okay. Those Sip and Stitch live tutorials on YouTube are usually the last Friday of the month at 10:30 a.m. So this is what we're going to be playing with. So come and join me for that too. But other than that, we'll pick up with the sew along on Thursday. I hope you can join me again. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.